Jingle bells? More like. The snow gently falls outside, blanketing the world in a serene white. Inside, stockings hang by the fireplace, each one a silent promise of sugary treats and delightful gifts. Kids are bouncing off the walls, hopped up on enough sugar to make a dentist weep. But this year, something is different. A storm of Christmas gnomes? Now, before you picture jolly little bearded fellows with pointy hats, think again. These ain't your grandma's garden gnomes patiently guarding her petunias. These gnomes are battle-hardened, fueled by centuries of intergalactic grudges and an insatiable thirst for, well, mostly eggnog. They hail from Nomulon, a planet far, far away where Christmas is less about good cheer and more about good conquering. Their leader, Supreme Overlord Narfli, is a grumpy 3-foot-tall tyrant with a Napoleon complex and a serious vendetta against holiday cheer. These gnomes, fueled by Narfl's bitterness, have only one thing on their tiny, malevolent minds: ruining Christmas for everyone, everywhere. Their mission, should they choose to accept it, is threefold. First, spoil Christmas. Think fruitcake-level bad, only with more lasers and less candied fruit. Second, conquer Earth. Finally, enslave humanity. So, armed with candy cane-shaped ray guns and fruitcake grenades, Narfl and his army of disgruntled gnomes descend upon an unsuspecting Earth. Their plan, so ludicrous, so outlandishly absurd, that it just might work. Narfl unveils his master plan Operation Stocking Stuffer. The goal? Infiltrate homes under the cover of Christmas Eve, replace all the presents with terrifying yet strangely festive horrors. The gnomes, battle-hardened but surprisingly lacking in common sense, greet this announcement with raucous applause. The plan, while audacious, does have one tiny flaw: stealth. Gnomes are about as inconspicuous as a glitter bomb in a snowstorm. Narfli's troops are equipped with cloaking devices that only work in the dark and smell faintly of gingerbread. No self-respecting army of Christmas-hating gnomes would be complete without an arsenal of appropriately festive weaponry. First up, the Candy Cane Cannon 3000. Then there's the Fruitcake Grenade, a weapon so terrifying that it's classified as a war crime on 12 galaxies. But the pièce de résistance is the Carol-inator. This insidious device, disguised as a Christmas ornament, blasts a never-ending loop of the most annoying, off-key Christmas carols imaginable. Think Baby It's Cold Outside, sung by a choir of tone-deaf chipmunks on repeat for all eternity. Christmas Eve descends upon Earth, a blanket of peace and goodwill settling over the unsuspecting population. Little do they know, high above the twinkling lights, a fleet of flying saucers disguised as Christmas ornaments approaches. The first wave of gnome troops, armed with their cloaking devices, descends upon the unsuspecting world. Their mission? Locate chimneys, infiltrate homes, and unleash chaos of epic holiday-themed proportions. What could possibly go wrong? The answer, my friends, is everything. The first rule of home invasion, according to Narfli's handbook, is simple: find the chimney. Seems straightforward enough, right? Tell that to Grog, a rookie gnome whose navigational skills are about as sharp as a lump of coal. Instead of landing gracefully on the roof, Grog wedges their saucer into the branches of a grumpy-looking pine tree. Meanwhile, Blorf, a veteran gnome, encounters a different challenge. He's successfully navigated his saucer to the chimney of a stately Victorian mansion, only to find it stuffed with inflatable Santas and reindeer. It's a scene of utter chaos, reminiscent of a holiday-themed slapstick comedy. Let's be clear, gnomes are not known for their interior design skills. Blorf, armed with his trusty sack of horrors, sets to work. Out go the beautifully wrapped presents, replaced with screaming rubber chickens, self-combusting fruitcakes, and socks filled with coal. Meanwhile, Grog, having escaped the vengeful pine tree, stumbles into a child's bedroom. Surrounded by toys and candy canes, Grog experiences a moment of doubt. Could ruining Christmas for this innocent child be truly evil? Nah. Grog shrugs and gets to work. Back on the mothership, Narfel surveys the chaos unfolding below. The humans, blissfully unaware of the gnome invasion, continue their holiday revelry. Narfel allows himself a moment of grim satisfaction, but even evil overlords have needs, and right now, Narfel's need is a tall, frosty glass of eggnog. He signals to his second-in-command, Sneezy, to launch Operation Eggnog Extraction. Sneezy scrambles to assemble a crack team of eggnog enthusiasts. Picture this. The local supermarket, a beacon of brightly lit aisles and last-minute shoppers. Carols play softly over the loudspeaker, occasionally interrupted by a frantic voice paging someone named Santa to aisle 5. The air smells faintly of gingerbread, stress, sweat, and desperation. The gnomes, led by Sneezy, couldn't be more thrilled. Their mission: locate the eggnog, secure the perimeter, and extract the precious liquid without attracting attention. They navigate the crowded aisles with the grace of a herd of drunk reindeer on roller skates. They arrive at the dairy aisle only to be met with their worst nightmare. The eggnog shelf is practically bare. A lone carton, its label slightly torn and looking suspiciously low-fat, sits on the top shelf. Sneezy rallies his troop. They must improvise, adapt, overcome. A fierce battle ensues, a silent ballet of shopping carts and strategically placed candy cane shrapnel. The gnomes, despite their diminutive stature, prove to be surprisingly adept at supermarket warfare. After what feels like an eternity, the gnomes emerge victorious, the lone carton of eggnog held high like a trophy. Sneezy, his uniform slightly sticky, beams with pride. They make their escape, dodging stray grocery bags and rogue shopping carts. Their mission, while not exactly stealthy, has been a resounding success. Narfel will be pleased. As the gnomes disappear into the night, the faint sound of triumphant giggles can be heard over the din of holiday traffic. As the world slumbers dreaming of sugar plums, the gnomes spring into action. Operation Stocking Stuffer is a go. Grog, fueled by stolen candy canes, faces a mountain of presents. So much wrapping paper. Blore, full of gingerbread, tackles a stocking. Out go the gifts, replaced with horrors. A screaming rubber chicken, check. A self-inflating fruitcake, double check. A sock filled with coal, triple check. Blorf considers it a masterpiece. Back at Grog's location, things are less subtle. Grog decides to rearrange the entire living room. The Christmas tree becomes the centerpiece of a gnome rave. The furniture completes the look. Grog lets out a triumphant burp. Dawn breaks, painting the sky in hues of pastel pink and a tinge of impending doom. It's hard to explain, but trust me, the doom is there. The children, bless their innocent little hearts, wake up with the boundless energy and excitement only a sugar-fueled holiday can inspire. They race downstairs, their eyes bright with anticipation, their tiny hands trembling with excitement. This, my friends, is it, the moment of truth, the culmination of Narfel's master plan. Little Timmy, his face a picture of pure, unadulterated joy, tears into the first present. He's dreamed of this moment for months, his heart set on that talking robot dinosaur that's all the rage this year. He rips off the wrapping paper, his eyes widening in horror. Instead of a roaring, stomping robotic marvel, he finds himself staring at a screaming rubber chicken, its tiny Santa hat askew, its beady eyes mocking his shattered dreams. Across town, little Susie, her pigtails bouncing with excitement, reaches for the beautifully wrapped box that surely contains the life-sized unicorn doll she's been coveting. She tears off the paper, her smile faltering as she lifts the lid. Inside, nestled in a bed of tissue paper, sits a self-inflating fruitcake. It pulsates slightly, emitting a low hum that seems to whisper, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." Susie, bless her pragmatic little soul, promptly bursts into tears. The news spreads faster than a fruitcake-induced stomachache. Social media explodes with pictures of screaming rubber chickens, self-inflating fruitcakes, and socks filled with coal and passive-aggressive notes. Hashtags like #Gnomeageddon, #Rudolph isn't saving us, and #Worst Christmas ever trend globally. The world, it seems, is not amused. Well, except for those who find humor in the face of utter holiday-themed chaos. And let's be honest, who doesn't? News channels, their anchors, struggling to maintain a semblance of professionalism while reporting on the great gnome invasion of 2024, display grainy security footage of tiny figures in Santa hats wreaking havoc in supermarkets, decorating Christmas trees with stolen toilet paper, don't ask, and engaging in impromptu snowball fights with bewildered mole Santas. The world watches, in a mixture of horror, amusement, and a dash of "I told you Santa wasn't real." The authorities, caught woefully unprepared for a gnome uprising. Let's be honest, who prepares for that? Scramble to regain control. They issue statements, hold press conferences, and generally try to project an air of calm competence, while secretly Googling how to defeat an army of Christmas-hating gnomes. The answer, unsurprisingly, is not readily available. It seems humanity is on its own, and as the sun sets on a Christmas day unlike any other, the world holds its breath, bracing itself for the next wave of gnome-related chaos. Humanity, faced with eggnog-chugging, rubber-chicken-wielding gnomes, did what it does best. Panic, they formed gnome hunting parties. Armed with fly swatters and garden rakes, they took to the streets. Grandmas brandished rolling pins, their battle cry fierce. Teenagers live-streamed their gnome encounters. The gnomes regrouped, trained professionals. They had conquered galaxies and mastered weaponized pastry. The Great Gnome Hunt of 2024, a clash of civilizations forever remembered. Section 2. Santa Claus, the Reckoning. High above the chaos, Santa Claus steered his sleigh through the night sky. This was not how he envisioned spending his Christmas Eve. He'd faced down blizzards, treacherous chimneys, and a rabid squirrel. But nothing prepared him for this. "Those little green fiends," he growled, stroking his beard, "ruining Christmas, messing with my delivery schedule. They've crossed the line." He reached into his sack, pulling out a walkie-talkie. It crackled to life with Mrs. Claus's steely voice. And when Mrs. Claus was mad, you didn't want to be a gnome caught stealing her cookies. "Donna!" Santa boomed, his voice echoing through the night sky. "Set course for Narfle's mothership. And Rudolph, point that nose of yours at anything flammable." Rudolph blinked, a mischievous glint in his eye. This was going to be fun. Section 3, Home Alone Gnome Edition. Back on Earth, in a quiet suburban home, 10-year-old Kevin McAllister, yes, that Kevin McAllister, surveyed his gnome-infested living room with a mixture of annoyance and a spark of mischief that would make even the most seasoned prankster proud. His family, bless their forgetful hearts, had done it again, leaving him home alone for the holidays. This time, however, Kevin had company, uninvited, chaos-inducing miniature company. "All right, you pointy-hatted pests," Kevin muttered, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Let's see how you handle the McAllister Home Security System Christmas Edition." He grabbed his trusty talk boy, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. This was going to be epic. What followed was a masterclass in home defense, holiday style. Ornaments strategically placed on the stairs became miniature bowling balls, sending unsuspecting gnomes tumbling head over pointy hat. A trail of gingerbread cookies, laced with a healthy dose of hot sauce, thanks Grandpa McAllister, led the gnomes on a merry chase that ended with them guzzling eggnog like their lives depended on it, which, given the amount of hot sauce involved, it kind of did. And the Christmas tree? Let's just say that involving a super soaker filled with eggnog and green food coloring was a stroke of genius that even Kevin's older brother Buzz had to admire. Section 1, Aftermath. As the dust settled, glitter, crumbs, and eggnog coated the earth. The gnomes, defeated, were shipped back to Nomulon in Amazon boxes. Narfle, muttering about unfair tactics, boarded the mothership. Christmas morning dawned, still twinkling. Children recounted the night's events with sugar-fueled imagination. Parents, exhausted, poured extra-large mugs of spiked eggnog. The world slowly began to piece itself back together. News channels debated the implications of the gnome chaos. Psychologists offered tips on explaining the chaos to children. Section 2, Happy-ish ending. Life, as it tends to do, went on. The gnomes became a distant, if slightly traumatic memory, a cautionary tale whispered around campfires and holiday gatherings. Remember that time the gnomes tried to ruin Christmas? Parents would chuckle, their laughter tinged with a hint of nervous hysteria. Children, their eyes wide with a mix of fear and fascination, would beg for just one more story, their tiny minds struggling to grasp the concept of a world where even Santa wasn't safe from the perils of eggnog-fueled tyranny. Christmas, once a time of pure, unadulterated joy, now carried a hint of something else. Wariness, perhaps. A sense that behind the twinkling lights and the cheerful carols, something lurked, something small, green, and possibly armed with a candy cane-shaped ray gun. But even the gnomes, in their misguided, chaos-loving way, had taught humanity a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the power of a good laugh, a strong cup of eggnog, and the enduring spirit of the holidays, even when it's being pelted with projectile fruitcake. So, as the carols played on, a little less cheerily perhaps, and the snow fell a little more ominously than before, the world held its breath, waiting for the next adventure, the next disaster, the next time someone decided that maybe, just maybe, Christmas needed a little less jingle bells and a lot more